It's the Locked On Flyers podcast for Tuesday, September 17th, your daily dose of Flyers news, analysis, and high quality content that's getting a peek behind the curtain of Flyers marketing.
Love it.
You're Locked On Flyers, your daily podcast on the Philadelphia Flyers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, and thanks for making Locked On Flyers your first listen every day. I am Rachel Donner. You can find me on Twitter at rmiriam. I'm here as always with Russ Cohen, who's on all your favorite social media apps at Sportsology. We are at Locked On Flyers on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Twitter as well. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit fanduel.com/lockedon to get started. You can find us over on YouTube as well. We're on the Sirius XM app or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Subscribe to get our latest episode as soon as it's available here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We are so excited to bring you an interview with Christine Mina, who is the Senior VP of Marketing for the Philadelphia Flyers. A lot of great insight. Got to touch on a couple of things from rookie camp first. No Samu Tuamala for a second day in a row yesterday. As of that time, he's still banged up and considered day to day. Should we be concerned?
I mean, a little. I mean, you're getting close to the season, and if he's going to be hurt for Phantoms camp, it's not that far away for the regular season. So, yeah, I mean, this is the time you start can be a little nervous.
Yeah, today is the last day of rookie camp. They have a session this morning before things transition over into main camp. Danny Briere will be speaking on that transition and how rookie camp went, I am sure, as well today. So we're going to talk about what he had to say and who is moving over from rookie camp to main camp. Any main camp invitees, additional PTOs that happen to show up. We'll get into all that on tomorrow's show. Now, the Flyers also released their promotional schedule for the season. It's really heartening for us personally to see that they're continuing Ed Snyder Legacy Night, which is your idea, Russ.
Oh, you too, but thank you. And yeah, it's great. I'm very happy about that. That was sort of the plan, that we were hoping that they would do a night and then kind of keep it going. And that's great, because I think all fans should always be able to connect to the past like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a great time last year. Talked to Dan Hilferty about it in person. You can find that on our feeds as well if you missed it when it happened. But it was a really good time. Looking forward to it again this year. In the meantime, there's more marketing efforts by the team. Christine Mina heads them up, and we will bring you that conversation with her right now. All right, we are so thrilled to welcome to the show Senior Vice President of Marketing for the Flyers, Christine Mina. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah,
we are always so excited to talk about some of the business side of things too, because it goes hand in hand with what they're trying to do on the ice. And I think it's just really important to have a holistic look at what the Flyers organization is trying to accomplish here. But you personally were there at the very beginning of really building a digital team for the Flyers. Like, how'd you go about finding and maintaining a unique voice for the Flyers brand?
Yeah, I'm so fortunate that I've gotten to be here as we've, expanded our digital team. When I started in 2014, we were a team of two, mighty team of two, handling, but the needs were so different at that point in time. Not to date myself, but that was around the time that professional sports teams were starting to make a digital role on their staffs. Prior to that, it often fell into PR or other departments. But obviously, as the needs grew, the resources were added, and over the past 10 years, we've continued to expand. We've created a digital team, and then that digital team turned into a production team. And, way back when I was writing code for the website and making graphics that I would be embarrassed for my graphics team to see today, because they are just infinitely more talented than I am and specialized. But it's been really, really awesome to see us grow every year and add really talented people and get to do really amazing things because of that, hopefully our fans see the benefit of. And I feel that we've been really lucky here at Comcast Spectacor that we've continued to feel, the need to add resources and give our fans more and more as digital takes over the world.
Yeah, I mean, no question about that. So I know I read that you were at the Gritty table when you were theorizing Gritty, and basically you were part of writing his origin story, and I covered that first game when Gritty was there, and it was mixed reviews, and then it kind of worked out after. Just give me an idea of like when you were thinking about Gritty, and then when Gritty was there, how you felt, and just how that all went down.
Yeah, I mean, what a whirlwind, right?
Yeah.
That one was a really fun project. It was very different from anything that we had done prior. Obviously, we weren't a team that had a mascot. I didn't really have any experience with mascots, and honestly, a lot of the team that we were working with, our marketing team here, really didn't have much mascot experience aside from one or two members, which I think was kind of what was awesome about it, is we didn't have a playbook in our head as to how we were supposed to handle
no preconceived notions.
Right. And I think that maybe allowed us to be a little bit wackier and creative, because we didn't really know how it was traditionally done. And we kind of crafted our own rules, which was really fun. Obviously, at the beginning, we were like, oh no, what did we do? This is probably not going to be great. But a testament to the group and to we all decided, and we felt it was really important to continue to lean in. It was not something we wanted to back off from. We thought that was probably the worst thing that we could do, is to just drop it and run and pretend like it never happened. We continued to lean in and try to use humor as a way to win people over. And luckily it worked. And now he continues to just be, wacky and harebrained, and we love that. And
well, humor and athleticism. There's a lot of athleticism there that probably goes unnoticed to some people, especially kids, maybe.
Oh yeah, very, very athletic, kind of incredible, and all the testament to Gritty himself. He is one of a kind, truly. I mean, there's no other way to say it.
Absolutely. I've thought, like, since the beginning of sort of the digital team with the Flyers, they've done like a really great job balancing sort of the straightforward content with the quote unquote personality kind of content. And like, how do you go about maintaining that balance? And then, like, is there kind of a remit or guiding principle behind that voice and those decisions?
Yes. And I will say, obviously, overarchingly, and not just with our digital voice, but all of our content, one thing that's really important to me and to our group is that we have to be transparent and authentic with everything we do. We're from Philadelphia, and I am born and raised from the Philadelphia area. So, I think it's different here, and it's very much in our blood. We can sniff out when things are not authentic and when you're not being straight up with somebody. So it's always been important to us to lead with that. And over my tenure here, we've had some really high highs. We've had some tougher times where performance maybe isn't where we want it to be, or, things are looking a little bit more difficult. And that's where it is important to strike that balance of, we want to show our personality. We want to be able to defend the crest and kind of show that chip on our shoulders, but we also know where the line is, and where it's, frankly, you just don't want to hear the fluff or the BS, and you just want the facts. So it's important to us to kind of, monitor that and keep that balance when necessary, and when we can be a little bit more fun and we can show our edge, we love to do it, but we also we know what's most important, and that's what's happening on the ice. And we are a vehicle to show our fans what is happening on the ice, what is happening in this organization. And that's the most important thing. And when we can be a little bit edgier and funnier, we want to be so, but we also don't want to be distracting from what the goal is here. We're a vehicle. It's not about us. We're the vehicle.
We'll have more with Christine Mina coming up next.
You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Well, we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season game Sunday afternoon, out of market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. You can cancel anytime. I would pick the Jets over New England on Thursday. Just visit FanDuel.com and download America's #1 sportsbook.
On tomorrow's show, like I said, we are going to talk main camp preview, what Danny Briere had to say, rookie camp wrap up, plus get to your mailbag questions. So make sure you get those in. You can email us at lockedonflyers@gmail.com, send us a message on Twitter, or comment on our YouTube channel. Here's more with Christine Mina.
An important thing is like you said, even if the team's not playing consistent, like your job has to be consistent, right? Because you're keeping everybody's eyeballs on you at those down times in the game, the beginning of the game especially. Branded content's like a big deal. Like, we heard about the new era of orange. It's great to have a slogan, but you really do have to kind of like back that up, right? And I think the storytelling has been a big deal, because I've seen a great jump in that. And I go to plenty of other arenas. I don't see that everywhere. So I do appreciate the storytelling. I'm a writer, so that's, maybe it's built into me, but I think other people appreciate that too. Give me an idea of like what the focus is like on that.
Yeah. And I will say, I think what has been so fantastic, and as a marketer, what I've really loved about this past season was how much it really was adopted by our entire leadership. We all, bought into the truth of what the new era of orange is. We have an incredible history here, right? We are, there have been so many amazing things that come with the Flyers brand, and we're a very traditional team. There's a lot of history that we are proud of and that we want to honor, but this is also the future, and the game has changed, and we are changing with it. And we are writing the next chapter in what is a long anthology of the Flyers brand. And that's what the new era of orange was all about, is that the orange is the tradition, but this is that next wave of it, and balancing the history that we have with all of the excitement for the future. And Danny and Keith and Dan Hilferty have, not only are they saying it, they're living it and they're breathing it, and they're bringing it to all of us on the staff, on and off the ice. So it's the full adoption from everybody that is, I think, made it so successful, is that we are all consistently actually living it as well as saying it.
Yeah, just to follow that up, one of the things that's hard to do is, I don't know if you know this or not, but hockey fans are pretty picky about the jerseys, and when they change, how that is all perceived.
What? They are?
Yeah, it seems that way. And Flyers fans sometimes take that to a new level. So when you do that, when you do have to unveil that, how nervous are you when you do that? How nervous is the team?
Very nervous, obviously. Very, very nervous. It means, we know how much it means to them. It means a lot to us. And it is such a visual representation of who we are. And it's something that we see. We go into every arena with it. It's in our arena. And the Flyers logo is so iconic and so special that you want to treat it with the care it deserves and the respect that it deserves. So obviously any big changes like that come with a lot of discussion, a lot of
consternation. Yeah.
And it, the funny thing about marketing in general and decisions like that in general is they're so emotionally driven, and there is no right or wrong. Like, you can look at a spreadsheet and know that the numbers are not adding up and that it's just simply
Right.
incorrect. Marketing is so subjective, and your feelings about any visual that you're seeing are so subjective. And one person can absolutely love something and the next person can completely hate it. And everyone is entitled to that feeling. So, things like jerseys and things that are going to be big and iconic and mean a lot to people you spend a lot of time, you hope that what you're doing with intention, and the rest you just kind of have to let it be and hope that that you swing with the majority, at least, and that you're listening to your fans. And that's really what we did when we did our last jersey unveil. Is we spoke to season ticket members, we spoke to our alumni, we spoke to our current players, we spoke to our leadership. We had a lot of discussions with all of the relevant groups that we knew this would mean a lot to hear what were the reoccurring themes, what were the things that people really cared about, so that we knew we were in the right direction. That was appeasing the people who really care about it. That was really what drove the return to our burnt orange. Was across the board, it was the overarching theme that we heard the most. And I for one am very happy that we're back into this era
Me
of
too.
orange, if you will. Aesthetically, I like it a lot. But
Yeah, I really love it. As a born and raised Philadelphian,
feels like
it just fits right. Talking more about this new era of orange, I think in marketing, this is now year 2 of that campaign, so it's not 100% new anymore. So how do you continue that brand and like creating that vision in year 2 of such a campaign?
Yeah. I think the way we're looking at it is last year was really about building the foundation, right? We brought in our new leadership team. We hit the reset button in a lot of ways, and it was all about getting to know one another in this new group and really committing to the principles of what this culture is going to be. This is the first year that we're really feeling like we're going to be living it from day one. We all know each other now. Things have really cemented as a group, and now we get to see what that forward progress is looking like. And the way that I always try to approach our messaging and our taglines is, one, we want to try to be consistent with what hockey's living and breathing, because they are, again, we are the vehicle and the mouthpiece of them. It's all about them. We should be crafting around what they're doing. So they've continued to say this is a multi-year process, and we are excited. Things have progressed faster than we thought in a few ways, but we're also realistic that this is a long journey that we are all embarking on together, and we're not putting ourselves ahead of where we intend this to be. We know it's going to be a process, and the new era of orange is meant to be a multi-year process as we embark through it together and get back to that perennial winning that I think we're all hoping for in the future. So, anytime you go on a journey, the building blocks start to get laid, and our messaging will adjust as that goes on. But the new era of orange is meant to be about this overarching process together to get there. And hopefully we take a step this year that's sizable, and then we can, react to that as we go on to future seasons. But we felt that it was really indicative of this longer process that we're a part of, and it's been adopted well. So we want to keep that consistency going. And then when we feel confident that the steps are being taken and the progress is being made, the messaging will reflect that.
Yeah, one of the great things that you could do is get the personalities of players to shine. I would say 10 years ago, that was a difficult task for a lot of hockey players, but I think there's been like a lot of the newer players are really into it, and you've been able to really take advantage of that. And I really just wanted to just ask you, like, is it nice that you probably have guys really wanting to do this because they want to show off their personalities? They don't care if, you ask them how many baseball teams there are and they get a few wrong. They roll with it, and it's great. People really like that kind of content.
Yeah, I mean, showing who these guys are on and off the ice is what we're here to do, right? And we want to build that connection between our players and our fans. They're amazing people, and not only are they talented on the ice, but they care so much about what they're doing. They're living and they're breathing it, and we want our fans to see that. We want to peek behind the curtain and show them not when they're just playing in full equipment, but who they are behind it, because when you see how much of themselves they're giving towards this, you can't help but root for them. And we all are rooting for them, right? And that's the story we're trying to tell. So it is about finding that balance. And luckily, as you know, it becomes more commonplace and players grow up with social media and they're starting to be a little bit more understanding of the importance and the role of storytelling in what they're doing every day. I've definitely noticed a shift over the years of players being more
I've seen it because I've covered the team a long time, and you could see the shift.
You definitely start to see it and feel it, and they're just kind of used to it from the beginning, whereas, you know, again, back when 10 years ago when I started doing this, they were kind of like, what are you doing?
Right.
Throwing a cell phone in my face.
Right.
Do you care? And it's been nice to see the shift.
Do any of the guys like ever come to you with ideas of like, oh, I want to get in on this trend? Or
it is funny that some of them really do have things that they care about, and there is one thing that is going to be launching really shortly that I will lightly tease here, that was player driven, that you'll see in like a week or so. That's all I'll say about it. But yes, and it's obviously, we are not trying to put them in a box that they wouldn't want to be in, meaning if somebody has a passion with a certain charity or they are excited about XYZ thing, we always are trying to learn about them and take them to where they naturally are, rather than plopping them in a scenario that they're like, why am I doing this? Why am I, fishing when I've never fished before? But some of our players love to fish and would love to, do a video about what they're doing in the summer. So it's all about kind of getting to know who they are and then showing that to our fans.
We're going to wrap up with Christine Mina and close out the show coming up next.
You know, I did mention storytelling before, but we always want to see what that new first story is when the season first starts. And so, like, you know, before the game, there's always something new, and it's always going to be like a couple minutes, and we all pay attention, media too. So I wonder, like, how much is how much is put into that, as far as like, it must take a lot of time because that becomes the centerpiece for the whole season.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And a lot of those projects we start as early as, season ends, and we start thinking about it a little bit, and then we see what happens over the summer. We kind of, watch to see what Danny's got up his sleeve and what his plans are. And we continue to craft and build, and the off season doesn't really exist. And
you're working all year.
Scenes for us. We're working all summer long. And this is really when it all starts to come together for us. September is always our busiest month of the year. A lot of the planning that we do all summer long, this is the time that we really bring it all into action. The team returns, we can do a little filming, get things ready to go, and then we get to watch the fruits of our labor in early October.
One of the things that I think is a challenge in hockey in particular is balancing, appealing to longtime fans or older people, kind of like Russ here, who doesn't know about TikTok and the latest trends and all of that. I'm old, but I also keep track of those things because I got to be able to talk to the kids somehow. But things just move so quickly with these trends. Like, how do you balance appealing to longtime fans versus keeping up with like some of these latest memes and all of that?
That is the daily thing I think about the most, probably. It's what I live and breathe every day. It's something that we truly think about every day. And we look at everything platform by platform. Who are we trying to speak to at this? Who are we trying to meet with? And, I completely agree with you, frankly. And I'm lucky that my social team, we've got Gen Zers on our social team who are living and breathing TikTok every day, who may come to me with something that I'm like, I don't understand it, but I understand that you understand it. And you see that it's going to resonate with that group of people that we're looking for. But we really try to tailor our content, knowing that we want to appeal to everybody, but there's certain things that are going to appeal to some of our base and not others. And we want to continue to feed our fans that have loved the Flyers for a long time, and they honor the traditions, and we want to honor those traditions, and keep that going for them, and be the brand that they expect and want to see. But we also want to continue to bring in new fans, and we understand that the game is changing and how people consume the game is changing, and we want to be there and meet those people where they are too. So it really is about tailoring our strategy from platform to platform. And the content that you're seeing in the arena, where we're looking at all age groups at the same time, is going to be a little different than what you're seeing on TikTok and what you're seeing on Instagram, because we know that we're appealing to different demos in those different spaces. And overarchingly, our brand and our messaging stays the same, but how we're approaching it might be a little bit different depending on what platform we're on. And luckily, we've got a talented team here who understands those differences and really puts a lot of time into looking at how we can tailor our content to appease everybody who's watching it.
Yeah, I've noticed that you've won awards like the Telly Awards. Me personally, like I'm a draft expert, but I like behind the scenes stuff. I always try and write that way. You do things like Inside Training Camp. You've done things about the draft. I think those things are important. I'd just like to get an idea how important you think they are, as far as, like you said, peeling back the curtain. But look, you could watch the draft on TV, but there's things you could do as a team that they're not going to cover on TV because they can't do that for every team. So what's that like?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's the most important thing, and it's the benefit that we have as being, part of the brand, is that we see things that are a little bit, not everyone gets to see what we see. And it's important for us to be able to show our fans as much as we can, right, within reason. So it's been a big focus of us over the past few seasons, and we're continuing to try to do so and bring it to our fans as much as possible. But it is incredible. You see the draft, and I've been to the draft many times, and the broadcast itself, there's a lot going on, and you're seeing names being called. There's a whole nother, behind the scenes story that's happening, not only at the draft, but weeks and weeks.
Right.
And weeks
Families prepare for that. They get there. There's a lot of, tension, tears, all of it.
Oh, yeah. So
a lot
much
of drama
goes into it, not for the families, for our scouts, for our management. They spend months and months and months preparing for this. And it's the future of our franchise. It's important. So we continue to try to tell the story. Obviously, it's a balance, right? You want to show, but you can't show it all. So we've been very fortunate that our leadership understands the importance of storytelling. Danny and Jonesy, obviously Jonesy comes from a media background, so he truly gets it. And Danny has such a business mind on top of his incredible hockey mind that they both really they've been very receptive to the requests that we have made to show a little bit more of what they're doing and show how much work goes into it all. And we want to continue to try to level that up as the seasons progress, and tell our story and show what's going on behind the curtain a little bit more.
Just to wrap things up, is there a particular initiative or project that, you felt like was just kind of like a regular sort of thing, but that it surprised you and hit in a way that you weren't expecting, or that you're particularly proud of?
There's a few, I would say, honestly. That's the funny thing about doing this, is that there are some projects that you put so much time into, and it just sort of moves on and you never really see anything out of it. Then there's others that you do and you don't really know if they're gonna hit, and they really resonate and take off. And I think that's one of the fun things about this job, is that you just never really know how it's going to go, and it keeps you on your toes and keeps you guessing. And there's definitely been a few, but I think the New Era of Orange adaptation and how much it's been just adopted by not only internally but externally has been really exciting to see, because again, I didn't really anticipate that it would be so universally successful, and it's been really great to see and exciting to build on. That's the biggest thing about taglines, is you never just want to change it year after year. You want to build on something, and I'm really excited that we're getting to do that.
I love that. Yeah, I'm excited to see what this initiative you teased is.
Me too.
I always look forward to the new fun stuff y'all put out every year, and we'll be at camp and the games, and hopefully we'll get to see some of that. Christine, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I love this look behind the scenes in marketing, especially.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I will keep my eye out for you guys at Rookie Camp this week.
Yep.
Thanks once again to Christine for joining us on the show. It was so much fun talking to her. I'm excited to see what this thing is she was teasing.
Me too. I want to know. Like, tell me.
I know. We tried. We really
did.
tried to get it out of
We
her,
did.
but she's very good at her job. So she did not let us in on what the fun.
But she did let us in on a lot.
Stuff.
And there's a lot of things that go on, consternations and otherwise, that, you know, maybe you don't think about when you're at the game, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah, always good to see behind the scenes how these things get put together. And digital media is changing so much, and
Every
she has
day.
a lot. Yeah, she has a lot to keep up with, and it's really cool to see how the sausage gets made, so to speak. That'll do it for today's show. As a reminder, we always want to hear from you. So get in those mailbag questions on Twitter at Locked On Flyers. You can email us at lockedonflyers@gmail.com or comment over on YouTube. I'm Rachel. I'm on Twitter at rmiriam. That's RMIRIAM.
I'm Russ. I'm at Sportsology, SPORTSOLOGY.
Thanks for making Locked On Flyers your first listen today. Now go check out Locked On NHL, where local experts keep you updated daily on all the biggest storylines ahead of the season. Find Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Have a great day, everyone.